As if Colorado's affordable housing crisis couldn't get any worse, a newly released report reveals some alarming trends when it comes to homeowners insurance. Good evening, I'm Michael Spencer.
And I'm Michaelia White. Thank you for joining us on CBS News Colorado. The Division of Insurance finds policies are being canceled and premiums are skyrocketing. Over the last 3 years, the average premium has jumped nearly 52%, 23% in the last year alone. And 76% of insurers covered less Coloradans last year. 5 carriers now insure 65% of the state.
Now state lawmakers are stepping in. They will take up a bill Monday to establish a so-called Fair Plan Association, or insurer of last resort. It could be managed, would be managed by a board of directors appointed by the governor. Policies would only be available to people who have at least 3 rejections from private insurance companies, and those private companies may be assessed fees to help cover losses. Colorado's insurance commissioner Mike Conway says when people who live in areas at high risk of wildfire can't get insurance, it impacts everyone.
If we start to have a problem in the home market in one part of the state, it's not going to stay isolated in that part of the state. It will trickle out throughout the state. And if folks can't find homeowners insurance coverage, that will fundamentally impact the ability for people to buy and sell homes in the state. So that's what people have to keep in mind. Although it might feel like we're doing something for pockets of the state right now, it really is for the state in its entirety.
Political specialist Sean Boyd has been following this issue very closely. And Sean, Marshall Fire victims are among those having trouble getting insurance.
Yeah, some are seeing policies canceled. Many are paying higher premiums. We've also told you about all those who are underinsured. But there's another group we don't hear as much about. People like me, whose homes were damaged by toxic smoke, soot, and ash. Because there are no standards for wildfire remediation, we are at the mercy of insurers with our health at stake. Colorado's insurance commissioner is working to change that.
It came right to us.
When Peter and Lanine Dente fled their home the day of the Marshall Fire, they figured it would be a miracle if it survived. The next day, they returned to an island in a sea of ash.
When we rounded the corner, we could not believe what we saw.
They could not believe their luck. At first, they soon learned their house, while still standing, wasn't safe.
The wind was coming at this house at easily 80 to 100 miles an hour. It infused everything in the house under pressure with smoke, soot, ash, char, and all the contaminants that had burned.
Contaminants that they say an industrial hygienist found in everything from the wood framing to the concrete foundation.
The only recommendation she has is to rip it out and replace it.
Their insurance company had a different idea.
It was vacuum, wipe, seal with shellac, paint it over, and you're good to go.
Almost 16 months after the fire, the Dentes still haven't moved back in, worried not only about the contamination, but the integrity of their house due to heat damage.
Do you still feel lucky? No.
Oh, no.
Absolutely not.
We don't have good standards.
Colorado Insurance Commissioner Mike Conway says he's heard from hundreds of homeowners like the Dentes, whose idea of clean and safe is different than that of their insurance companies. And right now, there's no standard anywhere in the country.
We have to find a solution here. The status quo isn't working.
Conway says in healthcare, when a patient's idea of what's medically necessary conflicts with their insurers, they can appeal to an independent third party. The same process, he says, could help in homeowners insurance disputes, with the right standards guiding decisions.
If these standards, whatever those standards are, say that a house has to be torn down in order for somebody to safely live in it, then that's what should happen, right? That is why we have insurance coverage. It can't be the case that we're not doing the right thing for homes just because we're worried about a premium impact.
For now, the Dentes say there is no good option.
Honestly, Sean, I do not know what we're going to do. We've often told ourselves we would much rather have lost everything and had the house burned down.
A bill making its way through the Capitol requires landlords to follow industry best practices for restoration. In other words, how you clean a property, not what qualifies as clean. But Commissioner Conway told me he is determined to find a solution. You know, I feel lucky. Our insurer has been pretty good. But again, with no standards for what's clean and safe and remediation, I really don't even know what to ask for. The Dentes are asking their insurer to tear the place down and rebuild it. We'll see.
And Sean, we know you'll stay on this. Thank you so much for this important report.